We are now on page 25, the subject of the spiral tool, and you can create some interesting effects here. Well, I'm going to select my spiral tool, and you can see I have already been playing. Previously, we had the polygon tool selected, so that's what you will see. And in fact, what I will do is actually bring the fly out all over here so that I can access it quite regularly, and in our next lesson, we are going to look at our graph paper tool. So the spiral tool is right at the end here, so I will quickly select that. Now the spiral tool is different than the polygon tool. With the polygon tool, we could simply create our object, then come back up here and make adjustments. Well, as you can see, I'm adjusting, but nothing happens, so this is different. I will delete that. You have to make your adjustments first, and then you draw. Okay, it's a little bit different there. Well, there are a couple of options. First of all, we have symmetrical spiral, and then we have logarithmic. When you turn logarithmic on, this scale becomes a viable. Let's start out with the stock standard symmetrical spiral. I will put in a value of, say, 30. Hit enter. Now click and drag, finger on Control and Shift, as we have learned, and you can see we have got a perfect spiral, and so each circle is the exact same distance away from the previous, and so on. So you can create some nice effects doing that, shapes doing that. You can always squash it up and do different things with it. However, it is that you might want to design. Now, for smaller spirals, type in 10 here, enter click and drag, and way to go. Now we learned again when we were using the polygon tool that if we select the shape tool, that the notes we can see, we can of course use those to reshape, but there is a difference. With the polygon tool, we had really special effects by adjusting those nodes. With the spiral shapes, all we can really do is what we call node editing. So I can actually reshape by using the swing arms. Move the node into a different position, and I can kind of begin to reshape. Well, we're going to learn about node editing much further on, so I really won't do that right now, but I just thought I will quickly show it to you. And of course, you can feel free to play with that. Now, I am going to grab the air in there and do this and straighten it up a little bit. That way it looks like a reel of cable that's being rolled up or something like that. Okay, just delete that. Back to my spiral tool. Let's move on to the next type of spiral, which is the logarithmic spiral. So select this. Now with this slide, I am going to slide right down to, say, value of 10. I have got 10 spirals, so click and drag, finger on Shift and Control again. As you can see, if you look closely, the distance between each spiral is slowly increasing. It's not really obvious there, however. If we increase this to, say, 30, finger on Control and Shift, now you can begin to see the spirals are getting further and further apart. If we lower the number of the spiral to, say, 8, and then increase right up, Control and Shift, and that will make it look like a snail shell, as you can see. Well, you can create what I have called, down the bottom here, a time tunnel effect by using this. If I put in a value of, say, 20, hit enter, and we will go with, so I type in a value of 60 and click and drag. But this time, rather than putting my finger on Control, in fact put the spirals a little too far apart, let me just readjust that. We will come back to, say, 40. Now I'm going to click and drag, and this time I will kind of try and create a plane, if you like. So we are looking across the top of it. Right-click, go to another color, say dark blue or even a dark green, tab the space bar, select my time tunnel word. I have got those to group together, so I am going to ungroup them. That was a bit unprofessional, really. I will pop that there, and I'm going to sit them on top. Now notice the green lines going over the top of the time tunnel. That's an interesting look. But Shift Page Up, of course, brings more words to the top. So I pop that there, and I begin to reshape it. Depending on the shape, you will notice how it kind of looks different every time you reshape it. More circle is more tunnel Lycian, so you get a different kind of effect. So you really do get interesting effects. Let's have a lot more circles. So if I go to, say, 30, allow this down just a little bit more, click the middle, finger on Shift and Control this time, and right-click again for the green, spacebar for my pick tool, select Time Tunnel, shift page up onto the top, and I think you have got the idea. So what you will do is go ahead and play with that. See what you come up with. Have some fun. And then we are going to place a spiral on our business card in the next lesson.